Hey everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you guys? I'm so happy to be here with you today, and I am bringing you a really awesome fun card. This is a fun fold, and I like to call it a tower card. I'm using the Ranunculus Romance stamp set and the dies. The Ranunculus dies, they coordinate with this stamp set. You can purchase them separately from my online store. All of the links will be in the description below. Definitely give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet, and definitely share this video. You can share it to Pinterest, pin it to a board that you are interested in holding it under, and then when you're ready to make this project, you'll have it at your fingertips to watch. So definitely check it out. Okay guys, let's get started. This is going to be a really fun card to make. Let me show you what it looks like. So it lays flat for you to mail it, but when the recipient gets it, they can stand up the card. And then that's what it looks like. Pretty awesome. I'll show it to you on my desk. Stood up, so see how it forms kind of a diamond shape there? And the front looks like this. I think it's such a great card, and I hope that you enjoy watching me make it. Let me show you what to do. Let's go ahead and move these guys out of the way, and let's get started. Of course, you know, with any fun fold, I need my Simply Scored tool. I use it all the time, and if you don't own this puppy, I don't know what you're waiting for. Definitely check it out. You can get it in my online store. This is a piece of crumb cake cardstock, and it's 8.5 by 4 1/4. We're going to score it on the long side, which is the long laying across the top, at 2, 4, 6, and 8. So that's pretty easy to remember. 2, 4, 6, and 8. That's all the scoring we're going to need. Now, you know, when I score, I always burnish on my score lines, so we're going to do that today. And let's bring this one in. Whoa! Got an extra score mark there. All right, it was a little rough on that. So we're gonna go ahead and glue this down. I'm gonna put adhesive on this 1/2-inch strip, and it's gonna get glued to that piece right there. So let's just go ahead and do that. Let me grab my silicone mat, my wet adhesive. Let's put that on this 1/2-inch strip. This is going to form our tower part of a card. So I'm going to lay this flat. I'm going to bring this one to meet it. And I'm just going to press those together. If glue oozes out, it'll be okay because I have it on my silicone mat. So there is, see, our base. This is our base to our card. Pretty cool, right? So now we're going to work on these strip pieces, okay? So let me give you some measurements and we'll get a little stamping going on. So I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper. I always have scraps lying around. I might need a bigger one than this. Let me grab an actual large piece. I'm going to grab a piece of copy paper. This is copy paper that's been cut down that I have used for various reasons. We'll use this one. A little bit of pink won't hurt us. We'll just keep the pink away. And we're going to go ahead and stamp these strips. Now, these are going to be the ones that are on the front of our card here. So we need to stamp them. We're going to stamp them same color ink, same color. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to lay them kind of near each other. As long as I don't rub them around on... Let me turn this paper over because I do not want any pink residue on my card. Okay. So we're going to just put them a little bit close together because it's okay if they get ink from the stamp. Like so. We're going to start with this image. This is going to be our first image, and we're just going to stamp it. You see how I'm stamping it on multiple spots at the same time, and that's okay. That's what we want. We're going to use this one quite a bit, okay? We're going to also use this long lacy stamp, so I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to put that right like that, and maybe right here. Whoops. And maybe one more time right there. All right. So that's it for that one. Let's bring in our smaller stamps. So we have this little Paris, And we're gonna stamp that in bits and pieces and places around our card here. The key is you just want to fill in like the white spaces, and we can come back with the same stamps, which is why I have not cleaned them. And let's grab the last stamp, which is this little label here. So we're gonna just bring that in, stamp it wherever you feel like it's needed, wherever you feel that you have to fill in a little area, just needs a little love from you. Okay, and then up here, I feel like I need some more of this word. So we're gonna just bring that in and maybe right there in that corner. I think this one's pretty good for the most part. Maybe this one right there. And this one right there. All right, so I'm happy with those strips. I'm gonna leave those alone. And we're gonna clean the stamps. Well, we're not gonna clean the stamps. We're gonna move the strips out of the way. I'm going to bring in these little white pieces. Now those strips in the crumb cake were 7/8 of an inch by 5 3/8 of an inch. And now I have these small little pieces of basic white. This is optional. You don't have to use them, but these are the pieces that I have here on the side. Okay. If not, you'll have the crumb cake plain showing right there. So if you want to have that pop of white, I recommend it. We're going to do the same thing here. Okay, we're going to start with that stamp. We're going to do that one. And then we're going to do the label. And then we're going to see if we need anything else on these small pieces. They don't need as much effort because they're so little. Hopefully I'm not out of camera for you guys. Sometimes I get a little crazy and I do get out of camera. Let's put another one right there. Okay, so that's those. Now we can go ahead and clean our stamps because we're done with all of our background stamping. Now these little 4 pieces of basic white were 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4 inches. And I'm going to take my blending brush with a little bit of Blushing Bride, which is a pink ink. Let me get these stamps out of our way. We're going to grab the pink ink here. And I want to distress these a little bit, add a little bit of pink onto them. Okay, so I'm just going to knock a little bit off, and I'm just going to run a little pink on there. See, I don't have to ink it up each time because there's still some left on my brush. Okay, so those are my little pieces. I'm going to set those off to the side here with these. And then I'm going to bring in my 2 die cut pieces. So I have this leaf and I have this little floral part. And I want to add a little bit of pink ink. I want my leaf to have a little bit of two-tone effect. And I like that pink color on there. I'm going to add a little bit onto this die cut piece as well. There we go. Kind of gives it a more distressed look. So we're going to set that to the side. And those are from the Ranunculus dies. Now, I also went ahead and did the rose and this other floral image that are in the Ranunculus Romance stamp set. Here they are. And I used my Stampin' Up markers. I used my crumb cake. And I used my Blushing Bride. And I took my stamp and I used the brush tip. Now, I showed how to do this on quite a few cards this week, which is why I'm not showing you again. But you're just going to color those parts that you want in these 2 colors. But I did want to let you know, crumb cake is from the neutrals and the Blushing Bride is from the subtles. So you can get those by Color Family Pack. And once I stamped them down, they got in the 2 colors like so. I use my dies from the Ranunculus dies to cut out. There is the skinnier flower right there. And here is my rose. Okay, so those got cut out, my leaf and my little floral piece. All right, so there's all of our parts and pieces and what they were used for. So now we're going to layer a couple things together. I also stamped the word hello in Blushing Bride, and I cut that out with the same die set. It has this little small label piece, and that's what I used for that. So let's start assembling all of our strips. Now, I have these pieces of Blushing Bride, which are going to be the crumb cake pieces that we stamped are going to be layered onto them. So these pieces are 1 inch by 5.5 inches. So let me grab my silicone mat and we'll bring them in here. We'll do one at a time, and we're going to use our wet adhesive, and we are going to kind of scribble on them with our glue. And then we're going to glue those onto our Blushing Bride, which is 1 inch by 5.5. So you get that really cute border. So there's one. Oops. See why I use the silicone mat? Because I get a little crazy and I make little messes, and the glue rubs right off of the mat, and I don't have to worry about ruining anything, because I'm really good at being messy. Okay, so there's that one. Let's get the next one. And I like to use the wet glue because I can wiggle it into place. Little horse, I'm going to grab a sip of water. All right, let's do the last one. I talk so much on these videos that sometimes my throat gets dry. You know, it's not easy talking to yourself, guys. Not easy. All right, so there are my 4 strips. All right, they're good to go. Make sure I rub the rest of that adhesive off of here, and we will get our tower piece ready. So now this is the back where that seam is. If you want to put it towards the front, you can, where it won't show as well. So you can turn it this way so that when you open the card, people don't see it as well. Let's do that today. So what we're going to do is, the way that this works is you glue one strip, and then you have another one, and then see, these two are glued to this side of the tower, and these two are glued to this side of the tower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my strips down. So I'm just going to lay them. So there's the first one. There's the second one. And there's the third and the fourth. And I need 3/4 of an inch to be off this card so that they're centered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my ruler, and I'm going to lay 3/4 of an inch on the end of my card piece, and then I'm going to bring this up, and when I glue it down, it's going to be right there at the 0 mark, and I know it will be even in between this tower. So let's go ahead, and we're going to put adhesive onto the tower piece. Now this panel here is going to stick just to this side, so I'm not going to put the adhesive all the way across. I'm just going to put it in this area right here, about the size of this piece. Okay, remember, I'm going to go ahead and stick this down where it's at the 0. And that is how I will get my distance there. Okay, now this one is also going to get stuck, but it's going to be stuck on the opposite side. So let's do that one next. So I'm going to take my ruler, I'm going to bring it, and I'm going to put it at the 3/4 inch mark. This time I'm gonna have to put it up here. Let's see. Let me see if I can do it backwards. So I'm gonna put the 3/4 inch right there. I'm gonna put the 0 on there, and the 3/4 inch is where I'll have to use as my guide. Now this one's gonna be glued on this side. So we're gonna put our adhesive just on this side. And I like to do my outer pieces first. So I'm going to make sure that the 3/4 inch mark is right there on the end. Actually, my 0, sorry, is right on the end. And then I want to mark this end right at the 3/4 inch, which it is. There it is, right at 3/4. And then that is like my little guide. So I'm going to slide it right up to the 3/4 mark. And then I'm going to press that into place. Okay, so now I have my top and my bottom strips. Let me open my card. There we go. Okay, that's what we have so far. Now, if this one's stuck on this side, this next one's going to be stuck on this side. And since I already have that as my anchor, it's pretty easy to figure out where these are going to line up. We don't have to use the ruler again. So, but what I have to do now is just eyeball these. So by laying them down, I can see how much distance I want in between my pieces. Okay, and so this one is glued on this side. So this bottom strip is going to be glued to this side. So let's go ahead and put a little, let's wiggle a little glue right here in the middle. Which is another reason I'm using this wet adhesive, because it is very strong. So if I put it there, that's a good distance. I have a nice, and this edge is equal right here. Let's just bring that up. Slide that right to there. Good. All right, that looks awesome. And now this one's glued on this side, so this one's going to be glued on the opposite side. Wiggle that in place. Do the same thing. Make sure it's centered. Make sure that your piece is right there, that it's equal. That looks good. Press that into place. All right, so there are our pieces. So when I open my card, see I have 2 glued on this side and 2 glued on this side. So now that I have those glued, I can glue my white pieces. So I'm gonna lay them like this, bring my mat in. And this time I'm gonna put the adhesive onto the actual little square or rectangle of basic white cardstock. So we're gonna put one there, and it's gonna get centered in that spot there. And then this one. Hopefully I'm in camera for you guys. I think I am, hopefully. And then this one's gonna get glued on this side. I'm gonna do the same thing. Flip it over. I'm gonna do these 2. So far so good, right guys? Not too hard. Not too hard at all. Let's put that one there. And this one. Awesome. All right, so those are all of our strip pieces. Now, we want our card to lay, and we want to put these pretty flowered pieces onto the strips of cardstock, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and glue those down, but I have to figure out, remember, they're moving in different directions, so I have to figure out where I'm going to put the glue so that the strips, these 2 right here is where this one's going to get stuck. It's not going to get stuck in the center. So it looks like I'm going to glue on this one the stem and just that flower. So let's do that first. So we're going to do the stem and just that flower. We'll lay that down. Looks good. Okay. And now here we're going to do, looks like these 4 flowers at the top. So I'm just going to flip it over and put a little bit of adhesive on these 4 flowers. And then I'm going to lay that into place. Okay. Same thing with this flower piece. Okay. So it looks like I'm going to overlap them this time. So I'm going to put this leaf section, all of this gets adhesive. Let's lay it down. Okay. And it looks like for the top section, just to there gets adhesive. So I'm going to flip that over where my finger is and just put it in this top area and lay that down. So when it opens, just those are the portions with the adhesive. Got it so far? See? Now we're going to do the same thing to the rose on the opposite side. So we're going to start with the leaf, and we're going to figure out where the leaf is going to get glued. Okay, so we need a portion of this leaf and a portion of the stem. Let's see, I think I'm going to do just a tiny hair of that stem. So I'm not going to put any glue on this panel, just these two panels. Okay. So it looks like I'm going to hold my finger here, and everything where below my nail is where I need adhesive. So I'm just going to put a little bit there. We're going to turn our leaf over. We're going to lay it onto our panel, and then just the tip of this stem is going to get that adhesive right there. Okay. Now comes our lovely rose. Okay, so I want to make sure that it's not too far over there. I'm going to move this down a hair. There we go. And remember, we have our adhesive remover. We can take off anything that we stuck down that's not perfect, but let's get that in place. We want to make sure that we're not too far into the crease here. We're going to go ahead and put our rose right here over the top of this leaf. So it looks like this entire rosebud and half of this one, right up to where the stem is, gets the adhesive. So we're going to put all of this rose, and right where the stem is, right here. So let's go ahead and put that into place. So put it kind of high. There we go. Good. All right. And then this section doesn't have anything, but the stem at the bottom has the adhesive. So we'll put that down there, and that goes there. All right, so let's open that and see how we did. Pretty good. See that? That stem has to hold. All right, so I'm going to put a little piece of linen thread. Let me grab that. I love the linen thread. I'm going to tie a really pretty bow with it. So when I do my linen thread, I like to leave it on the roll, and I do 2 bunny ears. So I form 2 little bunny ears, and then I cross them. And then this loop that's in the front, I push it through the back loop, and then I pulled on the 2 loops. And then I end up with these cute little loops, and then I yank on them until I'm happy with the size. And then I'm going to use my paper snips here and just trim that end, and then this is going to get attached right there. So I'm going to use a mini glue dot. Let me get this linen thread out of the way. If you don't have any of that, it's very inexpensive and I highly recommend it. So our mini glue dots come on a roll, and I'm going to use my take your pick tool. Now, if you guys don't have a take your pick tool, as much as I use it, I don't know what you guys are waiting for to get it. So we're going to roll it up here, and we're going to use this on the back of our where the knot is, and then I'm going to use my take your pick tool again to grab it, and I'm just going to place it right here. I did a smaller looped bow this time. All right, so there's our thread, and then the last piece is our hello. So we're going to go ahead and put 2 mini dimensionals. I have to grab my dimensionals here. So we're going to put 2 minis right there. Pull the backs. Whoops. My take your pick tool is getting loose. Okay, we're going to pull the backs off, and we're going to add the hello right here on this strip. And then the final touch, I used the brush metallic adhesive back dots. They come in these 3 pretty metal finishes, metallic finishes, I'm going to use the rose gold ones. And I'm going to use the other end of my Take Your Pick tool where the putty is. So let's cover the point so I don't hurt myself. I'm going to grab a large one and put it over here. A small one up here by the rose. And let's put another large one down here by the hello. Look at how pretty that rose gold looks with these colors. I think it looks awesome. Let's put these back in their little holder. They're called brushed metallic adhesive backed dots. I know, a big mouthful, but there is a screenshot of them for you. And look at our cool card. I think it turned out awesome. What do you guys think? I'm very pleased with how it looks. These look awesome. So again, I used the Ranunculus Romance stamp set and the Ranunculus dies to make these really awesome cards. This is a really great fun fold. I hope that you will watch me again. Definitely subscribe so that you know when I post more content. I am trying to grow my channel, so if you don't mind subscribing, I would be so grateful. You can share this video, especially to your Pinterest. I love that you pin it to your Pinterest and you can find it to do the video whenever you're ready. Also, you can share it to your friends if you think you know somebody that might be interested in my videos. I'd be very grateful for the referral. Like and comment, tell me what you think. And thanks for being here. I'm so grateful to have you. If you do not have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. Send me a message. In the description below will be linked to all the products that I used today and my email. So you can send me an email. Let me know that you're interested in having me as your demonstrator. I will tell you all the perks that I have for my customers, and I am very grateful to have you. Thank you so much for watching. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping!